Well, spring is almost here, and all these famous YouTubers are already jumping into the game, telling you what you need to do, how you need to get prepared. I was watching some YouTube videos the other day, and I just can't believe these YouTubers and what they're telling people. I mean, I'm talking popular guys. Stop using phosphorus. You don't need to add phosphorus. Even if you're deficient on phosphorus, you really don't need to add it. I mean, if your soil or your if your grass is showing you signs that it's phosphorus deficient, it's having a problem, you probably need to add some. And the reality of it is you don't need to add it 6 times a year, like a YouTuber was just saying the other day. It drives me nuts. Once I found out the information on phosphorus and how it works and what's going on with it, I just can't believe YouTubers from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast pumping phosphorus, telling you need to add phosphorus, and you don't need to do it. Your soil, your dirt is producing phosphorus through its natural reaction with microbes and the available phosphorus that's already in the soil. Even if your soil is low on phosphorus, phosphorus is going to be there. It's going to be available. The plant's going to be able to uptake it. If you keep dumping phosphorus into your soil, what's going to happen is it's just going to sit there. And then what's going to happen is it's going to start leaching into the soil. It's going to start leaching into the water table. If you're adding phosphorus, it's just going to run off your yard into the storm drains. And here in Washington, all our storm drains lead to rivers and the Sound. And essentially what's going on here, I mean, I'm not no big environmental guru. I don't practice hardly any of that stuff. I mean, I think it's great that we have the availability to do that, and we're learning about, cleaner things to do. But you know what? Phosphorus, with the way these YouTubers are telling everybody to use phosphorus, what's going to end up happening is the government's going to jump in. I mean, they've already jumped in. Phosphorus is illegal to use in almost all states. I can't say all states, I mean most states. I know in Washington, illegal to use phosphorus. There's only certain circumstances you're allowed to apply phosphorus on your lawn or in your garden. And that's through soil testing, if you're doing a reseed on your lawn, and there's one more that's slipping my mind off the top of my head, but you can't just willy-nilly go out and say, oh, hey, I'm going to go add some phosphorus just because the YouTube guy told me I should add phosphorus, Milorganite, 6 times a year or 3 times a year, whatever it is. You don't need to do it. Phosphorus is available in your soil already. And all I'm saying here is if everybody starts adding phosphorus to their soil and it starts leaching into the ground, starts leaching into the water table, into the oceans, waters, lakes, wherever your water goes once it runs off your lawn, government's going to jump in and they're going to start regulating it even harder and making it harder for us to be able to take care of our yards and do the types of things we want to do. So I'm just saying, know what you're doing, know what you're applying. You got to stop listening to these YouTubers. They are just passing misinformation. I saw one YouTuber who is literally applying his phosphorus fertilizer totally in disregard to what the manufacturer's suggestion says for the rate that he needs to apply it, especially within the state that he lives in. And that's what I'm saying. Just look it up. Check it out. Maybe your state doesn't need it. I know I looked up a few, and there are states out there that don't have any hardcore, phosphorus regulations, which is great. They're not getting regulated on it. But I know in Washington, if you live here, you're not supposed to be using phosphorus. And yeah, I know there's no phosphorus police. There's not some, cop that's going to come up to you and say, hey, what kind of fertilizer are you putting on your yard? Does it have phosphorus in it? Yeah, I know that's not going to happen. I think we just got to think, a little smartly here about what we're doing. I mean, are we just following Are we sheep? Are we just listening to these YouTubers telling us what we need to do, not really knowing if that's good or not? Like I said in a previous video, I started getting very suspect of what all these YouTubers are teaching us. And I started doing research. And I started looking a lot of these things up. And I was amazed at how much information that these YouTube channels, and I'm talking big YouTube channels with huge followings, they are giving information that just is not accurate. You don't need to do these things. Grass is one of the easiest things to grow. Grass is one of the easiest things to grow and have look good. Green, deep green. Not everybody wants a deep green grass. Anyways, all I'm trying to say here is, you need to do your little homework yourself to find out if what people are telling you is actually true. I mean, people are spending lots of money on these products that these YouTube channels push. And, they seem like, oh, really nice and great guys, and oh, he looks really trustworthy and honest and all that kind of stuff. You don't really know who they are. I'm going to tell you right now, there's one YouTuber out there, big YouTuber. If you knew his background and you knew the information on him, you probably would stop watching his channel. But you know what? That's not for me to say and pass on. I just happened to find out what was going on with that guy. I don't watch him anymore. Just not my kind of thing I want to be involved with. So on top of phosphorus, you got nitrogen. Same kind of deal goes with nitrogen. I don't know where this big, what do they call it, the nitrogen blitz comes in. I don't know who started it. I don't know how it came about. But if you're not applying nitrogen at the right time of year, when your plant is going to use it and absorb it, you're just wasting your money. It doesn't do what these YouTubers tell you it does, where, it gets into your plant and your plant stores it and saves it for spring, and then in spring it just booms. It doesn't do that. What the plant can't take, it leaches into the soil. Here again, nitrates and those sorts of things are getting down into the soil, leaching down into the water table, leaching off of your lawns after you apply them, because there's nowhere for them to go. The plant doesn't need it. It's not absorbing it. It's not doing anything. It's just sitting there in the soil. The longer it sits there, the more it gets absorbed into the ground. And the next thing you know, there goes your water. The water table ruined, lakes, streams, whatever it is that you have in your area that you're dealing with. I'm just amazed at the poor information that a lot of these YouTube channels pass on and the products they're trying to sell you. I was watching one YouTube guy talking about this great product that's going to make your grass super green with super this and super that. And you know what the reality is? And none of it was true. And I'm just talking based on actual research. I mean, there's lots of studies out there, and I hate reading. I like to watch things and learn from things. And that's what the problem is. I was doing the exact same thing a lot of people are doing there. I was watching YouTube, and I was like, I got to start adding humic. Oh, I got to start adding phosphorus. Oh, I got to use sea kelp. Oh, I got to use this. I got to keep using this. Oh, I got to do this, 20 times a year. Whatever the case is, there's all these things that are being told to us that are just wrong. And I'm just here to say, I started this channel to talk about my McLane lawnmower. I did research on the internet on how to fix a few things, and I couldn't find anything. I've learned how to do it, and I was just going to post some videos about my McLane and the things you need to do to keep it going. It's a great lawnmower. I mean, look at my putting green. It's February, or I'm sorry, it's the 1st of March. My putting green looks great. I haven't hardly fertilized it. I don't use any of these extra additives everybody talks about. The humics, the sea kelps, the RGS, the plant growth regulators, the aeration chemicals, or not even necessarily chemicals, but aeration, dethatching, products that you can apply to your lawn. A lot of these things, they don't work. They don't do anything. I mean, you can try them, and this is where, people get caught up in what's going on in their lawn. Somebody says, hey, this is going to make your lawn super, super green. This is great stuff. And then you go and you use it, and hey, it makes your yard super green. But the fact is, the only thing in that product probably making your yard green is the nitrogen. And if it's a liquid and it's got iron in it, that's going to do a great job too, greening your yard up. I put iron on my yard all the time. I see results literally as I'm applying it. I see my grass getting greener right in front of my eyes. It's a fact. You add liquid iron, it's going to green your lawn up. If you add a granular iron, it's probably not going to do anything to your lawn. A lot of these products that they sell you that have nitrogen and iron and they're granular, it's not the iron that's making your yard green. It's just the nitrogen, the urea, the ammonium sulfate, whatever they have in it. The fact that they say that there's iron in it and that it's helping you, it's just not true. Scientific research has proven that granular iron has little effect on greening your lawn. Now there's certain cases where certain situations, the right, atmosphere, the perfect timing, it can do that, but it's not going to do it on a once every 3-month basis or whatever you're looking at. So anyways, I just want to make sure people understand that a lot of the information you're getting told about how to take care of your lawn it's just not true. I've gone back to basics. I've been watching a few other channels, same thing. They're going back to basics. I'm doing the research. I'm reading up on things. I really hate doing it. I'm watching and listening to these different conferences and conversations and people that, are scientists and, they have their degrees in soil and, growing stuff. And I'm really learning a lot. And I'm just kicking myself. I can't believe all the energy I spent in listening to YouTube people telling me how to take care of my lawn. I learned a long time ago when I was 10 years old with my dad, when we put our first yard in our brand new house. He told me, ammonia sulfate, that's all you need. Ammonia sulfate, water, some weed killer, maybe some pest control, and that's it. It's really all you need. If your yard's telling you it needs something, it's going to tell you. It's going to show you, hey, I need phosphorus. Hey, I need potassium. If your yard's not telling you it needs it, you don't need to add it. It's just basic. It's just grass. It's going to grow green and dark green, depending upon what type of, grass seed you're growing. I mean, my bent grass, it's a very light color. I can put a lot of iron on it, and it's not going to get as dark as my Kentucky bluegrass, because that's just not what it does. So I just wanted to give you this little bit of information here. My yard, it's looking great. We're coming out of winter. I've got a lot of plans, a lot of things I'm going to do. And, I'm going to take care of these little bad spots in my lawn from my renovation that went wrong. And a lot of it was just because I didn't follow the rules. I didn't do the projects at the right time of year. And then on top of that, I walked all over it. I mowed over the top of it. I just never gave it a chance. I was too impatient, and I was too concentrated on making the other parts of my yard look good. And I tried to force it, and it didn't work out. So I'm going to work on those things this year. I'm going to do a few new projects. I'm just going to post them up. Maybe you'll learn something from them. I'm not going to push any products on anybody. I'm not going to tell you something you got to buy. I'm not going to tell you what kind of equipment you need to use. I mean, I'll show you what I'm using and how I'm doing things. And, you could do the research and look some things up yourself just to verify, what you're hearing. That's all I'm saying. Don't listen to these guys that are telling you need to add Milorganite 3 times a year or triple 16 or whatever. You don't need to do it. And all you're doing is, causing damage to the environment. And here again, I am not that guy. I'm not here to tell you, hey, you need to save the world, you need to stop using phosphorus. I'm just here to say, I don't want the government coming in and telling me I can't use a product. That's my big thing. And I think you probably feel the same way. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do care about the environment. You didn't know this. I think it's very irresponsible of you two people to out there telling you what you need to do and not telling you the consequences of doing it. And if you don't do it right, or even the fact that it's just against the law. So I did my video, me mowing. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. Trying to get my yard going here. I got a great project going on in my backyard this year. Actually, I'm doing my own little test project right now, which I hope to have some great results. But look at my backyard here. Aside from the bare spots where, my grass didn't take last year from that tree that was overhanging, I don't use any fertilizer back here. I don't know ammonium sulfate, no anything. I spray for weeds, and that's about it. And I'm doing all post-emergent type spraying right now. I'm not doing any pre-emergence because I do have some seeding I need to do. I do want to get this looking better. But this is the end of the second season for this grass right here. It's Kentucky bluegrass. And, it's looking really good for not ever really getting fertilized. I'm not saying I'm not fertilizing, but I'm not using ammonium sulfate. I'm not using urea. I'm not using iron. I'm not using any of that stuff on my backyard. I'm just letting it grow. And I do have something that I am using, which once I finish my little research I'm doing, I'm going to let everybody know, what I did and how I did make my backyard here look really nice and green. And yeah, I got a striper kit on the back of my lawnmower there. I really like that Honda mower, but I really don't use that Honda mower that much. If I use it in the backyard, and I use it in the front yard as a vacuum to vacuum up just miscellaneous stuff that's, thatch and all that kind of stuff after I dethatch. So this is what I have going on. I have another video getting ready to put out, some McLane maintenance topics. I'm not sure how many things I'm going to put on there. I just recorded a bunch of stuff, just went into it, some oil change and adjusting the bed knife, showing how the cut height is adjusted. And so I'm working on a few of those things. And, I'm just trying to get ready for spring here too. It's been really nice here in the Pacific Northwest. The weather's been great. Grass is starting to grow. Well, I hope you learned something from the video. And I hope you subscribe and just watch some of my videos. I'm just trying to put some information out there just to kind of help everybody out from all the bad information. Have a great one. Thanks for watching.